Adult movie usage is down 47% since the introduction of the Online Safety Act. But not in my house, it's not. All I did was download Surfshark for less than the price of a coffee a month, and trust me, that is more than paid for itself. 10 times over. Honestly, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I just click on Surfshark on my phone, click on I'm now in America, and then I don't have to do all of this, enter your age, enter your ID. I don't want to send a picture of myself, I just want to see some big boobs. But whatever you're into, Surfshark has got you covered, and it is the easiest app to use ever created. And also, if you want to watch boxing and football, this app is going to come in handy. You know exactly what I'm on about. And it works on all of your devices, so what the hell are you waiting for, lads? Just click the link in the description below. Go to surfshark.com/kickoff, and you can get the ultimate game changer for your everyday entertainment in Surfshark for less than the price of a coffee a month. And that includes 4 extra months of Surfshark when you use my link. So not only are you having a good time, you're helping us keep the lights on and make more good content for you. This is a no-brainer. It's a win-win. So do me a favour, get on it. You know, it's funny, earlier this season when Newcastle were actually winning games, I was putting tweets out saying, look, we might be winning, but we're playing fucking shit here, like. The writing was on the wall. You can see we weren't going to keep winning games playing like that. There's no way. After the Fulham game, Eddie had said, I don't think the performance was bad. I'm delighted we found a way to win. I was saying the performance was terrible, mate. I love Eddie. It was terrible. We didn't even look like a Premier League side today, which makes sense because now teams in the relegation zone are actually fucking battering us. And the level of grief I got for pointing out these obvious facts to me from Newcastle fans. Yeah, people like this fella who have a platform make us look stupid. Dozy as fuck. Another one. TG hasn't got a bloody clue. Do I not? We're a couple of weeks later. Let's see what he's saying now about Newcastle. It's pathetic, this, mind. Answers are needed, Mr. Howe. Well, what do you know? It turns out watching the fucking games and paying attention to what's going on the pitch just as much as the actual result tells you what the fuck's going on, mate. And look, I got so many of those, so just fuck you, right? Just, you know what I mean? Because I've seen this coming a fucking mile off. And I really wish I wasn't saying I told you so, by the way. Like, I don't fucking want Newcastle to fail. I'm not one of those creators that, like, lives and dies and pays my bills off of how, like, crazy I do reactions for goals, and I don't give a fuck. I just genuinely love this club. And every word I say in these videos, I actually think about this a lot, and I actually say them because I'm hoping some fucker puts it right. And apparently after the West Ham game, oh, now we're going to put it right. We've had a hiding, we've learned our lesson, we need to turn up now we're going to earn more money. That was the narrative from the players. We are now 2 points above the relegation zone with over a quarter of the season played. This is pretty much fucked now for us. The season's fucked. We might do all right in a cup. I don't know. I doubt it. The season's basically over, barring a miracle. There was no drawing. There was no, oh, even if we lose, we can still recover. It was win or die, basically. That was this game for us, and we fucked it. And ironically, last season, we went through a very similar run, and I was mentioning all of the same things then. The problem is, this season, it's worse. When we lost to Brentford last season, which was very much like a what the fuck moment to wake us up, and it worked, we lost 5 games in 15. This is now our 5th defeat in 11 games. And I said before the game, what really makes this really bad for me is watching Sunderland. The last thing I want to do is give those bastards fucking credit, right? But watching them against Arsenal, the level of fight and desire and we will do anything to fucking beat you, it's night and day from what I'm seeing from Newcastle. I think what makes it worse is actually watching them pass the ball around. Like, obviously in an Arsenal game, they're quite dogged, but in some games, I've watched them knock the ball around better than us. They signed 14 players in the summer. They're fucking strangers to each other. They haven't known each other 2 seconds. Our lot have been being coached on patterns of play by the same manager for fucking years. We look like the bunch of strangers, and maybe the fact that we have got players who've been there a long time, maybe that is part of the problem. Maybe things are getting stale. In terms of the game, I mean, quite similar to the West Ham game in that we go a goal up and then we let it all go to shit. The first half, we looked quite defensively organised. On the ball, we were fucking terrible. The goal was good. A ball went into Voltemada. It wasn't perfect for him, as usual. He made the absolute best out of that with a lovely flick into Barnes, who then did brilliant skill to get the shot away. Fucking great goal. Against the run of play, I thought, right, now we've got to kick on now. Now we've got to build from this. And just like in the West Ham game, we bottled it. Total fucking bottle jobs. And I heard Danny Murphy say, you know, we looked leggy. We didn't look at it in the game. Well, we've played the same exact fucking team pretty much, give or take one player, in 3 games in like 7 days. When you don't rotate it all in that length of time, playing that many minutes of football, you're gonna look shit. And it's like Eddie's learned nothing at all from the Champions League campaign we last had. Like, at least in that campaign, he had excuses. The squad was tiny. he couldn't really rotate. Now, you've added all these players. You did rotate against Spurs in the Cup a couple of weeks ago, and for some reason, you're just not fucking doing it anymore. We literally beat Spurs with a heavily rotated side. I don't get it. We're talking the absolute basics of management here. Like, players need rest, and when they're out of form, they need dropped. That is basic. And it's like these two things just completely go over Eddie Howe's head, especially the form bit. The fact that we lined up in the Champions League with pretty much the same exact team who started against West Ham, who put on that shocker. I don't care that we won in the Champions League. Obviously, I care, but that's beyond the point here. It's about, you've got to let players know, if you don't fucking deliver, it's going to cost you in games. There's a World Cup year coming. You may not get your place. You better fucking turn up. It sets a terrible precedent. It's like a culture of comfortability. And it's not even just that. It's like we didn't even learn anything. Like Nick Pope's punching in the West Ham game was fucking horrendous. So what will we do when we're trying to defend long throws? We use Nick Pope as our main guy to try and punch it away. Have we not seen how bad he is at that? There's just so much not being learned. And then you look at the fact that Eddie signed £100 million almost worth of Elanga and Ramsey. You spend so much money on them. You must believe in them. So then why the fuck, when we lose that badly to West Ham, do neither of those lads get in the side? Joe Linton had an absolute disaster of a game. If you don't rate Jacob Ramsey enough to play him after that, then why the fuck did you spend 40 million on him? It just screams with your actions, not your words, because he's going to say, oh, I still like them. I don't care. When they have such bad games and you then our replacements who you spent shitloads of money can't get a game, you don't rate them. You've signed them for a lot of money, they've got there and you're not happy. That's obvious, because when you're that desperate, you fucking give anyone a chance, and you didn't even trust them at that point. Howe speaks very highly of Lewis Miley, another one. Couldn't get a game after such a, not just one game from Joe Linton, a terrible start of the season, man. Yeah, he had a better game in the Champions League. We all know in the Champions League, we're playing much lesser sides right now than the Premier League. We've worked that one out now, I hope. Eddie Howe, as great a manager as he is in some aspect, has some big, massive weaknesses, and one of them is Southgate-level loyalty. The whole fucking country could be screaming out, this is such an obvious change you need to make, and he is just tunnel vision, Eddie. And you look at the elite level managers, all of them are ruthless. Sir Alex Ferguson, Pep Guardiola, the lot of them. When a player's not delivering, you're fucking gone, mate. There may be a little bit of leeway. Eddie takes it to a fucking insane level. You look at the Brentford game, right? Dan Burn, for all he's not a proper left back, he's actually been performing well overall for us this season, minus a few shaky moments. In this game, he was crumbling before our very eyes. I'm texting me mates early in the game, we need Burn off here. It's just not happening for him. He picks up a yellow card, no change. Brentford then go and score and equalise. No change. Dan Burn then concedes a penalty, which got chalked off, and I think we were a little bit lucky because there was some contact. So we got away with that one, but still, no change. Dan Burn then concedes another penalty, which I don't actually think was a penalty, but he gets sent off, and then Eddie Howe goes, yeah, we better bring Lewis Hall on. Well, you're fucking quick today, aren't you, mister? I was at the match in the midweek. Newcastle played in the Champions League against Athletic. Lewis Hall came on. Yes, he's missed a lot of football. He looked razor sharp. He looked fucking phenomenal. Even when he came on in the Brentford game, he gets a cross in. I'm like, wow, what's one of them, you bastard? 2 games in the Premier League in a row where Eddie Hall has made changes. One being far too early in Voldemort coming off against West Ham, removing any threat we had in the fucking game. And then a week later, the weakest link in the team who's crumbling, everyone can fucking say it, and you just leave him on there to get crucified. I actually feel a bit of empathy for Dan Burn in that sense. He's not a fucking left back, he's doing his best, but you have to also help him out. When you've got a player of the quality of Lewis Hall on, you're not bringing him on, I'm like, fuck me. All the lights on, mate. I think there's clearly mentality issues there, and some of that is related to fear. Like, you look at us in the cup final, when we're scared and you are playing one of the best teams, we turn up. Even earlier this season against Liverpool, we didn't even have a fucking striker. We got a man sent off. We showed up. But in games like West Ham, where they've got a shit home record and we're just going to roll in and fucking turn these over, they're too comfortable. And again, I think that's made worse by the fact that, well, if I play shit, I won't get dropped anyway. Very comfortable. I think also that's part of the mentality problem away from home. Away from home, there's no pressure. Your home fans aren't baying you like, come on, we've got to fucking get a move on here. There's none of that. You can turn up, play shit, and no one will give you any stick there. Eddie needs to use fear as a tool, because them lot, There's no fear in them right now. And I don't think it's all Eddie's fault. Like, I don't think he's been helped by multiple director of football changes, multiple heads of Newcastle changing, like having to do all the transfers this summer himself. Like, he's been failed by the club in many ways. Since Amanda Staveley left, the leadership's been massively lacking. But that being said, you can't spend 150 million on Wissa, Alanga and Ramsey and then have a team that can barely string a few passes together. How on earth you didn't impact your first team with that amount of money is absolutely unacceptable. And yeah, they might come good down the road. I don't fucking care right now. You've spent the money and it ain't looking like you even believe in it. Even as bad as Wirtz is playing for Liverpool, they're fucking still playing him. There's still some belief. Fucking 150 million on bench warmers? Maybe not for Wissa when he comes back, but still, a lot of money and fuck all to show for it. And the really worrying thing is, as bad as this start has been to the season, we started terribly last season. This isn't a one-off thing. It's a reoccurring problem. It's something that's within these players, within Eddie Howe, happening here again and again. And when you spend that amount of money to change it and it doesn't change, well, then you fucked it. And I'm also just getting a bit worried that the players just don't really respond to Eddie the way they used to. If you look at the lack of intensity on the pitch, it's fucking staggering. We were never great technically. Eddie didn't build us to be that way. He wanted big, strong players who could compete physically. But when we'd get the ball, all right, we're not always the best passers, but we pass so quickly. We get the ball up the pitch so quickly. Before each player receives the ball, they're already thinking, right, where am I going to go next? And the patterns of play were very much ingrained. Now, when we do get on the ball, the rare occasion that we keep it for more than 2 seconds, you'll see like Bruno not even showing for the ball to come into the defense. When someone picks the ball up, it's like the ball's coming to them, they get the ball, right, now what am I going to do with it? No one's showing, okay, there's no aggression, let me just roll it to the side then. We have the most overrated midfield in Premier League football, bar none. People have said we're up there with Liverpool's, and for a minute I kind of believed it myself, but that's off the ball, and that was what we used to be like off the ball, not even anymore. On the ball, we're miles off some of these lot. Declan Rice, when he came to Newcastle, it was a whole nother level, man. And that's before I even talk about the fucking wingers, my God. And when we get the ball, it's just so fucking careless, man. I said the other week on a tweet, like, do we even practice passing? Because we don't look like we do, and we really don't. I got shit for that. We look like we're very well coached off the ball. It's as if we spend all our time in training doing off the ball work, because when they get the ball, they ain't got a fucking clue. There's no like, right, you get the ball, he runs over there, he makes space. Like, it's just so stagnant and just stationary. Fucking hell. Where are the patterns of play? Where's the plan? How many games I've watched this season and thought, I don't know what the fuck our idea is to win this game is. I haven't got a clue. And they don't look like they've got a fucking clue either. That's when how long a manager has got left at a club really starts, like, because we're not seeing anything here. Except the fact that we started shit last season, we've started even shitter this season, and that there's a pattern. Eddie has said, we know it's not good enough, and I take responsibility for that. The biggest thing is we stay together and are motivated for what is to come. The West Ham game was the motivator. The West Ham game was the wake-up call. The one to spring into action to realise, oh fuck, we've been doing this all wrong. We need to apply ourselves as well. That was the mother of all wake-up calls. There are no more wake-up calls. When you don't show up after a wake-up call, then your job, player or manager, starts to become at risk. Then fans start saying, we need to get rid of this lot. That's not disloyalty, that's just common sense. When you're playing this poorly and you look like a relegation battling side, and we've spent this much on you and you're getting paid these wages, you fucking deserve criticism. So stop feeling sorry for yourselves. And of all the players who are, you know, being blamed for this, what's really shocked me, because I consume loads of Newcastle content, is those calling out Nick Voltemada. Some of the main journalists in Newcastle, who I like and I watch and I enjoy their videos, no fucking disrespect there now, but I massively disagree on this one. He's getting blamed for our away form in particular. You know, the same away form that was actually not even good last season, and especially towards the beginning of the season and the back end of the season was terrible. We were struggling to create. Alexander Isak dropped off a cliff. Anthony Gordon dropped off a cliff. All of the same problems without Nick Voltemada were there. All the while Nick Voltemada was in Germany scoring all the fucking time. So that alone tells you that this problem predates Nick Voltemada. For me, the time to criticise strikers is when they're getting a bunch of chances, like when Darwin Núñez was having a tough time at Liverpool, for example, and they're missing loads of chances. If your midfield is so shit that they can't keep the ball, much less create chances for a striker to miss, how are we going to blame the striker? Now, one of the criticisms of Nick was that he doesn't press as much as Alexander Isak does, and that's why we're not winning the ball further up the pitch as much. Not only does Nick press just as much as Isak, if not more, he actually has physical battles with defenders far more than Isak did. Look at the Arsenal game. He outworks Isak easily. The reason we're not winning the ball up the pitch as much is because of the entire fucking team. Our ball winning stats in the opposition's half are some of the worst in the league, if not the worst. That is not the fault of Nick Voltemora. That is the whole fucking team lacking the intensity that we used to have. Now, I'm also hearing that Nick doesn't stretch the defence as much as Alexander Isak used to. I think that's partially true. I think especially earlier in the season, he's definitely been told to stay further forward since then. And I think he's listened and I think he's trying. But the problem is, when your midfield is so bad at just bringing the ball forward to you and your wingers are so useless at getting the ball to you, he's going to come deep to try and help them out because they're shit. So whose fault is it that he isn't able to stay as high up the pitch as he's been told to? Is it his fault for thinking, you know what, I'm staying up here, I'm not getting any of the ball, they're having a fucking mare, let me go back and help them because they can't pass ball together fucking more than 3 times? Or is it their fault for being shit? Because if you put Nick Voltemora now in one of the top sides and they've got loads of possession, he wouldn't be dropping deep anywhere near as much because he wouldn't fucking have to. And he'd be getting chance after chance after chance. And then you'd see the level he's on. How many times I've seen this season Jacob Murphy and Anthony Gordon, you know, have options to play him in and just shoot and miss and from miles out. And you're just thinking, what the fuck must be going through this kid's head, man? Even against Brentford, he got nothing. He was living on fucking scraps. A ball comes into him and his first thought is always, what's the best possible decision I can make right now for Newcastle United? So even when the ball's coming into the box and he's close to goal, he realises this ball's going to be far too far behind me. He knows Barnes is there. Black flicks it to fucking Barnes, creates a goal scoring opportunity. He's got the ability as a striker to think about what's the overall best decision that can be made right now. And that is a problem that we have in our wingers, every single fucking one of them. He's miles ahead of them. That's the real issue here. He's got more technique in his little fucking toe than them lot. And the ironic thing is, despite the service being so bad this season for Nick Voltemora, possibly the worst I've ever seen a Newcastle striker have to live off of. He scored more goals this season than Gyökeres, João Pedro, Sesko, Ekitike. The same Ekitike that the whole fucking Premier League are saying is the best thing we've ever seen, by the way. Like, I'm impressed with him, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, Voltemora scored more goals than him in a fucking 10 times worse of a team. And we're blaming him. Yes, he's different to Alexander Isak, but going on about how, he's not Isak. Mate, if we'd have kept Isak, we'd be in the relegation zone now, mate, because the only thing between us and that is Nick Voltemora's goals. You've seen the state of fucking Isak this season, and the beauty of it is, after listening to all this, I went and checked to see how many goals at this time last season Alexander Isak had to Nick Voltemora's. Nick Voltemora has scored double the goals this season that Alexander Isak had at this point last season. Double. Nick Voltemora, 3 years younger than Alexander Isak, in a brand new league, and a team performing this poorly, with less wins than we had at this point in last season. And he scored double the goals Isak did. But Nick Voltemora's the problem. I think this kid can be one of the best fucking footballers going. The level of technical ability he has for a striker is outrageous. If he'd signed for a Bayern Munich or any top side right now, he would have destroyed this season in the Premier League even more than he has. I watched João Pedro score a goal the other night. He should have had fucking 4 against Spurs. If that's Nick Voltemora, he's banging the hat-trick minimum. And it's like, we're so lucky to have this level of talent and we're so shit around him that we're dumb enough to suggest that he's the problem. He's literally playing every game. He's knackered. He's getting no support, no help. We should be thanking our lucky stars he signed for this club. If we want to look at who the problems are, we should be looking at the same lads who downed tools at the start of last season. The ones who were here when it happened the last time. I went to the Champions League game midweek. I watched Anthony Gordon quite closely. He played one half of football before going off injured. It was one of the worst performances you'll ever see in a Newcastle shirt ever. I think he's gone off a fucking cliff, and I don't know how he's even in the England side. It's just literally because of his reputation he gained from like 18 months ago. If it was based on actual form, Jacob Murphy would be in over him, no problem. And I don't even think Jacob Murphy's having a good season. Like, he's scored a couple of goals, but his performances have been crap. It's just not as crap as the other wingers. He has the odd moment, but like in that game yesterday, he was fucking atrocious. Harvey Barnes, he's got something. I think we might as well give him the run in the team over Gordon, but he's another one who technically can be really frustrating. That being said, what he did for that goal, he showed more skill than I've seen from Anthony Gordon in fucking 18 months, so keep him in. Elanga fucking Bruno's. Oh, God, what a nightmare this is turning into. Mate, if you can't get into this side, you've got fucking problems, pal. Joe Linton gone off an absolute fucking cliff this season, and it was an obvious move to upgrade on him in the summer. As much as he's a good player when he's in that right environment and it's hostile and it's a fight kind of game rather than a technical game, he's a great option to have. But my God, when we have the football, we need players who are a level above him. And it was so obvious that we needed a technical upgrade on him. I've been calling for it for fucking ever. We bought Ramsey. He's tidy. Does he look like a £40 million player? No. Will he be? I fucking hope so. But again, if Eddie doesn't have faith in you to start you after fucking Joe Linton stinker, why should anyone else? I'm going to need to say a lot more. Even Tonali, right? I mean, he had a fucking shocking game against Brentford. And I think Tonali gets a lot of credit, which is deserved for his hard work off the ball. Like, he's a dog to get that ball back. But again, his passing needs to level the fuck up. When we're on the ball in midfield, we're so poor. He can have his good games on the ball, don't get me wrong, but we can't put you in the Declan Rice fucking category while you're so hit and miss sometimes on the ball. Bruno, I mean, fuck me. If anyone needs a bit of criticism right now, I think it's Bruno, unfortunately, and I love him. But football is a lot more than just fucking making a tackle, watching the ball go out and scream into the fans. You're not being a fucking leader on that pitch right now, mate. When those defenders are looking terrified when they've got the ball, everyone fucking knows what I'm on about. When you're like, I need someone. And he gets into these positions. He's not helping them. He's off fucking gone to the shops. You should be dropping in. Give me the fucking ball. Help them out. Move the fucking whole team forward up the pitch. Bruno's had some great moments where it shows that he can dig us out of a situation, but I want him to be doing his actual... It's not about the goals. It's about helping the whole fucking team. Being a midfielder is being the unsung hero who keeps the whole team ticking. It's not happening right now. I feel for Dan Burn because... Fuck me. What a day he had yesterday, and it's been coming, right? Obviously, he's not a fucking proper left-back. He's playing loads of games. He's getting on. I think his future should only be at centre-back. And he's got a chance of starting because Botman had a fucking stinker. Fabian Shaw, a lot of people forget how bad he was at the end of last season. He's looked like his legs were gone. There's a spot up for grabs because Malik Chow is an absolute fucking cert. He is one of the few who gets any credit this season. I'll give Trippier some credit. He manned up and where some players didn't, apparently, and spoke to the press and gave an explanation for that fucking shit show when others didn't want to speak. He's another one, 35, playing so many fucking games, it's absurd. And I do think missing Hall and Livramento has fucking killed us this season, but it's not only, you can't just put all of this down to that. Nick Pope should have been dropped for Ramsdale. I think everyone can fucking see that who supports Newcastle right now. That was another no-brainer that everyone was calling for, again, overlooked by Eddie Howe. I love Eddie Howe and I don't want him to be sacked, just like I didn't want him to be sacked last season when we were going through a very similar run. And I said last season, if this continues, Eddie will get the sack. It will have to happen. That wasn't me asking for him to be sacked like a lot of idiots fucking claimed. It was me just saying the facts. Football managers are based on results, not memories. We've got loads of lovely memories with Eddie. The future of this club's what's most important. And if his messaging isn't working anymore, if his tactics aren't working anymore because the Premier League is evolving and a lot of people are adapting very similar tactics, you are going to get sacked if you don't get the results. He knows that. Everyone knows that. But I want to give him as long as possible to turn this around because he's shown he can turn it around before. I just worry about the money he's spent and the direction he's taken the squad in because for me, it's nowhere near technically good enough. Too much about running around and not enough about what you do when you get the ball. That's where titles are really won. Even just getting into Europe, you need to have that. And we don't look like we got it this season. But I'd give Eddie the summer to bring more players in and try and sort this out in the long term. I think he deserves it. I'm just scared of how bad it might get in the meantime if we can't just set some fucking chances up for Voltemora. It's really that simple and we just fucking don't do it. His conversion rate's ridiculous. But again, let's blame Voltemora. It's fucking mental. That's all I've got time for today. God almighty, I never thought I'd be happy to see a fucking international break, but here we are. Hit the like button, subscribe, don't forget to check out my sponsors, Surfshark. Big love to them. They're fucking amazing, and I'll see you on the next one.